New into stock, we have a very interesting and economical vehicle too. It's a Mitsubishi Outlander 2-litre PHEV plug-in hybrid electric vehicle. It's a GX4hs, it's a 4x4, it's a 5-door, it's 2015 on a 15 plate. Now the fuel economy, it's very difficult to say. I checked it before, and according to the computer it was averaging something like 90 miles per gallon. That's bearing in mind plugging it in, using electric mostly, just going home and back to work, and occasionally it just reverts to the engine, or you can actually charge it with the engine. There's all sorts of tricks to get more miles per gallon, which I'm working on and trying to find the best way of driving it. I'll try and show you when we go out in it, but it's a really good specification. If you like electric vehicles, personally, how to put it, doing this job, my face gives the game away. If I don't like you, if I don't like a car, you can see it in my face. I was using a Mercedes hybrid a few weeks ago, and the chap that bought it, he said, you didn't look like you were enjoying driving it. Well, I wasn't, in all honesty, I wasn't. These electric cars, I suppose they're ideal for some people. I've been in the motor trade all my life. I used to enjoy stripping engines down and rebuilding them, and that sort of thing. Getting it to run absolutely perfectly meant a lot to me, and that's how I was brought up. There's all these moving parts working in conjunction with each other, split-second timing to get the best out of the engine, to get the best economy, tuning the carburetor, and now we just have motors. So that's it from my point of view. However, I have been using it for a week or two. If I was going out for a Sunday drive, I'd rather go out in a V8 something or other. But day to day, this is absolutely fantastic. If a friend of mine's got an electric vehicle, it's just costing him nothing to run. It's zero road tax, and it says in the blurb that you get with the things that it'll do up to 140 miles per gallon. That's what you'd be buying this for, up to 140 miles per gallon, and comfortable for 5 people and all your luggage. So it's ideal for that. It's just not ideal for me. It probably will be for you, and that's why you're looking at it. So try, I know it's difficult, but try and ignore my face. It's for getting from A to B. For me, there's not too much enjoyment in driving it, but try and look past that, otherwise we're going to have it forever. Okay, so we've got high pressure headlamp wash, multi-spoke alloy wheels, kind of a snowflake design. We've got, and that's proper snowflake, not what it's used for these days. We've got the chrome window surround, rear privacy glass, plastic sill protector there. Got power folding door mirrors, roof bar system, tilt and slide electric glass sunroof. On this side you've got the proper fuel flap. We have chap here's waited till now to fire up his petrol lawnmower and drown me out. Gordon Bennett. So, power open and close tailgate. We've got the load cover here. There's a load liner in here, so it's all like new inside. The seats split independently of each other and fold down. Just under there you've got the reversing camera, rear wash wipe, again privacy glass in the back. Plenty of room in the front seat there. I've got it where I'd be comfortable, and I've got lots of leg room. There's a rear centre armrest here, 2 cup holders. We can put that back up. We've got one, well, that's the other inertia reel belt, comes out of the roof there and plugs in. So 3 inertia reel belts on the back here. We've got the Isofix child seat anchor points in the back. You would have to, it's obviously blooming catch on it, there you go. So if you're an adult of any size, then you'd have to put the rear headrests up to be comfortable. But once you have, the seat's up to your shoulders, and it is nice and comfortable, plenty of headroom, and the roof here is sculptured, so it actually goes up at the back here, and it's obviously there so that the sunroof can come back. But once past where the sunroof's coming back, you've then got more headroom, so it's nice and comfortable in the back. Black perforated leather. You've got cup holders down here, well, more bottle holders down there, and your cup holders in the centre here. It's really, really nice. I'll just take you for a ride in it. Remote keys, it's keyless entry, keyless go, keyless entry as long as you've got the key on you. Just press the rubber button on the door handle and the doors open. And same when you're getting out, press it again and they all lock. Keyless go, that's it, that's the engine starting. It's on electric at the moment. I'll just put it on charge quickly while we're talking. So it's actually full. The engine drives the motor and charges the electric as well if that's what you want to do. There's a save button here that saves the electric, so that'll put it onto the engine. And just move that. That'll put it onto the engine and save your electric for where you probably most want it, around towns and so on. We've got power folding door mirrors, sat nav. I'll just show you the reversing camera. There you go, there's the reversing camera as well. And I'll take you for a drive in it. I'll try and explain things as we go along, but to be fair, I've been using it for, I don't know, 4 or 5 days, perhaps a week. And I've still not totally got the hang of it. I'm getting there. There's a little diagram on the dash. You can set it to go to that diagram, and it tells you at the moment the battery is driving the wheels. You can you drive accordingly. Now on the steering wheel you've got a minus button here and a plus button here, and with it being automatic you'd probably think it's paddle shift, but it's not. It's just the regenerative system. When you take your foot off the accelerator, it starts driving the motors and recharging it, so it also slows you down quite a bit. If you pull on these paddles, it slows you down a lot and quite quickly, and it doesn't put the brake lights on, so anybody behind you, if you do it, they could give them a shock, because before they know it, they're closing on you and they've no warning. Like now, if I click that, it's gone to charging the battery, and the little diagram there has changed to B, which is sort of brake regeneration, or when you're braking, it generates electricity for the battery. By holding the plus flap for 2 seconds, you can set it back to the way it was before. So as you can see, we're on electric at the moment. I mean, as I said before, I haven't got the face for this job really, and I know you're probably thinking, tell us something we don't know, Baz, we're watching the video, but electric, that little beeping, it's also got lane change, which I'll tell you about. Yeah, my face gives the game away. To me, this is just a fantastic car. If you're looking for economy and so on, brilliant. But it kind of goes against everything that I've been brought up with in the motor trade. And you know, engines getting better and better, and we've now got to a point where engines are so good, and of course machine tolerances are so good, and oil's a lot better, engines are lasting longer, and we've just got to that point, and we're introducing electric motors to the mix, which just, you know, as I say, the engine, you match it to the gears, you're driving, you change gear, and the better driver you are, the better at gear changes you are, and the more satisfying it is to drive. Whereas electric motors don't need gearboxes really, they just go faster. This one's got two motors apparently, one at the front, one at the back, and that's the four-wheel drive button here. Right, I'll just kind of show you when we're coming up here. If at the moment now, the engine is driving the wheels. We've got to a speed now where it's needed engine assist, and now as I'm slowing down, it's putting charge back into the battery, and as I click this negative button, I'm slowing down faster and it's charging more. And the beeping is again the lane departure warning, and it's because I've not indicated before I've crossed the line here. If I indicate, it won't make a noise. I will indicate here so as I don't cock everybody up. So, but when there's nothing behind me, I'll try and show you. So this plus and minus button, certainly in the morning when I'm coming to work, it becomes an art form, knowing when to click the minus button to let the electric motors slow you down instead of the brakes. And you're doing like a couple of things really, or three things. You're charging your batteries, you're not using your brake pads, you're not wearing your discs out, and it's making the car do more miles per gallon. Right, kind of now it's recharging the battery or regenerating. There you go, as I'm pulling this up. So if you can, of course the lights have changed now, but if you can time it so that you don't need to press the brakes, because every time you press the brakes, you're wasting fuel. Same in a car. I tend to coast, and people have a go at me for coasting and putting it in neutral, and just rather than using the brakes. But BMW have brought out an automatic gearbox that does exactly that. People give me a hard time for doing it. BMW have spent millions of pounds developing this gearbox that senses that you don't need power, and it just engages neutral and you coast. So, and of course get more miles per gallon. Here we go, up the motorway. The engine's just kicked in there. If I take the revs down a bit, that was the lane departure warning. I came over this broken line. I'll do it again here, so it knows we're here. If I go over here, there you go. It's warned me twice. But if I indicate and go over, then it's fine. Now I'll just get to 70. Of course, I was going to tell you how many revs we're doing, but I'm going to go back in the middle, inside lane now. I was going to tell you how many revs we're doing, but here we've got an eco. We've got it in eco green, and blue is charge. So if I take my foot off the accelerator, it dips into charge, and it's showing the wheels are driving electricity to the battery. If I put my foot on the accelerator, it's back to the engine. Right, other stuff. Whoops, cruise. Done it again. Cruise control, is that switched on? Cruise. Sorry. Dreadful. There you go. Can I? Limit off. Right, so we're in drive. It's kind of a neutral thing. You can, if I put charge on there, it's charging the batteries, and there it's saving the electricity. Knock both those off. It's just got to have absolutely everything. The four-wheel drive switch here. It's got heated seats. We've got here .40 miles an hour inside lane. we've got here tilt and slide sunroof. Just close that. That goes all the way back. Just knock that off. Charge. We're back. So we're actually doing nearly 60 on electric power. With a bit of luck, this camera, I'll try and be able to show you. I've put a camera up so you can see it moving. And there's a, let's just see. That's showing how economical you're driving. That's the four-wheel drive, trip counter, second trip counter. It's showing I've got 9 miles of electric and 63 miles fuel. And now before it was averaging something like 90 miles to the gallon, but it's been ticking over while I've been photographing it, and it's brought it right down. So that's not really a fair. I was going to reset it, but I need to concentrate here really. So there's a shade band which you can pull across the tilt and slide sunroof. There is bags of room in here. You've got cup holders here at the front, power socket there. Oh, bash my head there. Anti-skid control there. There's the lane departure warning. Bluetooth hands-free. It's got audio streaming. And you've also got some other things like timed climate. One of the problems with electric vehicles is in the morning, especially when it's been icy, it takes a while to heat up and defrost your screen. With this, you can actually set the heating to come on at a certain time, or even cool it down, which is handy with cars with leather upholstery. It does get quite hot sometimes. There, the engine's just cut in again there. I'll just clip it back. Oh, it was then showing me actually how much of the time I'd been on electric. Now again, this morning it was 60-odd%. Now it's only 43 with it ticking over. But we're on electric there. Yeah, that's just electric. We're doing 55 miles an hour. It's nice and quiet, nice and smooth. We'll just click the regen on again, and that's it. The wheels driving electricity back to the battery instead of using your brake pads. And that's one of the things I noticed when we bought an i3 last year. The front discs were rusty, and the reason is there's no need if you kind of plan your journey, or when you come into a halt, if you just take your foot off the accelerator that little bit sooner, the regen system slows you down. You've no need to brake. It is a good idea. It'd have been a better idea if they'd have brought that or invented that when we used to use asbestos brakes. that would have probably saved the planet a lot. But here we go. I'll just slow it down again. And again, I haven't got my foot on the accelerator or the brake. The vehicle's slowing down. It's well into the charge gauge. I'll just have to help it here. Otherwise we'll sail across the junction. And then hold the plus button for 2 seconds and it just goes back to ordinary drive. It's the same with a Toyota Prius. When you're going down steep hills, you could just put it into the B and it held your speed more, but recharge the battery in the meantime. I mean, this has been fantastic for me, just coming back and forward to work. There's certainly no pleasure in that drive whatsoever. Even if you were in a V8 or a V12, you're just in traffic. And if I put this, there's a charging lead in the back, plugs into a 3-pin socket, and there's also a fast charger, and the fast charger will take it from no charge whatsoever to 80% in 30 minutes. I just plug it in when I get to work, and I come to work on electric and I go home on electric. As I say, my friend who doesn't care about cars at all, just needs to get from A to B as cheaply as possible. He's got a BMW i3 and he loves it, and none of the, you know, like, people get fed up, keep plugging it in, but you have to go to the fuel station. How many times you go to the fuel station and there's a car in front of you, and now with fuel stations and supermarkets, there's somebody parked there while they're getting the week's shopping, and you're waiting to get to the fuel pump, and then when you get to the fuel pump, you're behind them again while they pay for the. This camera's getting on my nerves. It's too hot and the camera keeps cutting off. Yeah, so you wait for them and you go home. I've got it set up at the garage. I'm going to turn that lane departure warning off. It's getting on my nerves. You just plug it in, come out of work, it's fully charged. I leave the charger at work and just put it in the garage doors, and you do the same at home in your garage. Just plug it in, and it is no problem. So I can see, and certainly the fuel economy, especially after using a Range Rover 4.4, it's that's quite nice, not having to put your hand in your pocket every couple of days for like 50 quid worth of juice. But it is what it is. You either like them or you don't. And if it's a work tool, then it's ideal for that. So that's the lane departure warning. We just knocked that off. Just getting too close with the cars being at the side of the road. So electric windows, electric door mirrors. Let's just check them. High pressure headlamp wash. Yep, they're working. Yep, all the windows work fine. Electric seats. Well, that's right the way back where I've got it, but there you go. That's so that's fine. Now then, I'm sure it'll have height and reach adjustable steering wheel as well, which I'll just check if there's any cars at the bottom here. There's a car behind me now. Is there anything coming? No, there's nothing coming when I wanted it to be. It's so quiet. I've got the aircon on as well, so that's going to take some electric. But, I have noticed when we've gone to price this vehicle up that there's a lot of these vehicles on the internet with plenty of miles on, so obviously they're bought for economy, and also they must be good for plenty of miles. Electric motor, not very many moving parts, just the one as far as I'm aware, and a winding and a magnet and so on, and nothing really to wear out. Of course, the engine's hardly doing any work, so that's not under any strain. It just helps now and again. That's kind of about all I can say. The climate control in here is working tremendously well. It's very, very cold, and there's a setting down to 15 degrees here. I think from my aircon days, they only used to drop the temperature between 11 to 15 degrees from what the outside air temperature is, but even aircon's got better these days. Everything's working on the car, nice and clean, just as it's come in. It's not been cleaned yet. Lance will give it the treatment when we get a Range Rover in and I stop using it or somebody buys it. But so don't let me put you off, because it's probably absolutely ideal for most people. and it's a very, very good car. When we get back to the garage here, I'll just show you how to delete a mobile from the system, set the sat nav, pair your mobile, and also stream music through the system. So here we go. Just try and get this camera back on first, otherwise